One of the big victim traps that so many people find themselves in is being seduced by what is over. I always tell people what is over, and you can't change it, you can't should have done it, you can't would have done it, you can't could have done it. You've got to stop all that shoulding on yourself, if you will. And what you want to do here is look at how you get to be victimized by things that have already happened. Like, I can remember moving from Michigan to New York when I took a position as a professor at St. John's University in 1971 or 72. And I arrived on Long Island, brand new home. It was on a Wednesday. We had left on Wednesday. We drove there. We got there on a Friday afternoon. I had a new little baby girl. And we got to our home, and there was no electricity. So I called Lilco, the Long Island Lighting Company. And I got on with them, and this was Friday afternoon now, and I said to the girl who answered the phone, I'd like to have my electricity turned on. We've got a little baby, and we need to have warm. And it was in October. And she said, I'm sorry, sir, you should have called on Wednesday. So I put my finger up and down on the phone real hard, about 3 or 4 times. I said, excuse me, is this Earth? And she said, of course it's Earth. What are you talking about? This is local. I said, well, on Earth, where I've lived for the last 31 years, you can never should have called on Wednesday, on Friday. You can't do that on our planet. She said, would you go through that one more time? I said, real easy. I said, on Earth, you can never should have called on Wednesday, on Friday. You can't do that. It's Friday. I can't should have called on Wednesday. She said, I think you better talk to my supervisor. And it took me like 3 supervisors before I got someone who understood that I didn't want to be told what I should have done or what I could have done or what I would have done. I wanted my electricity turned on. And I kept it very light and amusing and so on. And sure enough, someone was sent out that afternoon and I had my electricity turned on. Now, I can call next Wednesday, but I can't should have called on Wednesday. And you can't should have called or should have done anything. Everything that you did in your life up until this moment is over. It's done. It had to happen in order for you to get to the next level. Accept that. Don't allow yourself to be victimized by things that you can't change, things that are over. Your parents were the parents that they were. Your parents did what they knew how to do, given the conditions of their life. They didn't do it good, they didn't do it bad, they weren't right, they weren't wrong. They just were who they were. And they did what they knew how to do. And if what they knew how to do didn't fit in with what you think they should have been doing, then learn from it, grow from it. Don't be full of anger and hatred for them. That's the biggest victim trap you can get into, being mad at somebody for what they did 25 years ago. So what you want to do is look at everything that you find yourself upset about or manipulated by or controlled by and change all of that. Shift it around. Shift it around to a new kind of consciousness. And that consciousness is, I can't change what's over. One of the big victim traps people are going to use is they're going to tell you what you should have done. If only you would have listened to me.